This reconstruction is based on period paintings, architectural sketches, civic records, and hand-drawn maps created in 15th century Rome. These sources were produced by artists, surveyors, and clerks whose work focused on recording the physical city as it existed. When viewed together, these materials allow us to observe how Rome functioned in daily life. They show streets, buildings, and shared spaces shaped by routine movement and repeated work. This walkthrough does not focus on major events or famous figures. It focuses on ordinary actions, familiar paths, and the environment that framed daily activity. By following these images in sequence, we can understand how Rome looked, sounded, and operated during a specific moment in its history. We begin in Rome in the year 1450. Rome, 1450, along the Tiber River. The image opens along the banks of the Tiber River. The water moves steadily through the frame, dark and slow, reflecting stone walls and wooden edges. Small boats are tied to posts driven into the riverbank. Their surfaces show wear from repeated use. A man steps down carefully, testing his footing before pulling a rope tighter. Stone embankments rise unevenly on either side. Some sections appear newly repaired, while others are softened by age and moisture. Grass grows in narrow gaps between the stones. Nearby, a woman kneels at the water's edge. She lowers a container slowly, waits for it to fill, then lifts it with both hands. She pauses briefly before turning away. Buildings face the river closely. Their walls are marked by stains left by past floods. Wooden shutters hang open on several windows. Smoke rises lightly from rooftops behind the riverfront structures. It drifts upward without spreading, suggesting calm air. The atmosphere feels steady and controlled. The river supports many daily tasks. Water is drawn for cleaning and cooking. Goods arrive by boat and are unloaded onto the banks. Two men lift a crate together. They adjust their grip, step in unison, and set it down near a doorway. Their movement is practiced and quiet. Paths run parallel to the water. They are worn smooth by constant passage. People move along them without stopping, adjusting their pace to others nearby. The sound of the river blends with footsteps and low voices. There is no clear separation between work and passage. Activity happens in shared view. This area connects the city to the wider region beyond its walls. Supplies enter here before moving inland. Finished goods leave the same way. As the river continues northward, the number of people increases. Movement becomes denser. The surroundings begin to change. The next images move away from the river, following a path that leads into the interior streets of Rome. Rome, 1450. Interior residential street. The image shifts away from the river and into a narrow interior street. The space closes in quickly. Stone walls rise on both sides, tall and uneven. Upper floors extend outward above the street. They reduce the light below, leaving only a narrow strip of sky. Shadows move slowly as the sun changes position. The street surface is rough and irregular. Stone slabs sit at different heights. Water collects in shallow depressions near the walls. A man walks carefully, lifting his foot higher than needed to avoid a wet patch. He adjusts his cloak as he passes a doorway. His pace remains steady. Doors open directly onto the street. Their wood is thick and worn smooth at hand level. A woman opens one door briefly, looks out, then closes it again. Movement here is constant but measured. People adjust their steps to avoid contact. Passing requires awareness. A small cart approaches from the far end of the street. Its wheels scrape against stone. Those on foot step aside without instruction. Windows remain open despite the closeness of the buildings. Cloth hangs from one opening, airing in the shade. It is pulled back inside after a short moment. Living spaces sit directly above ground-level rooms used for storage or work. There is no clear boundary between private and shared space. Daily activity overlaps. Sound travels easily here. Footsteps echo between the walls. Voices carry farther than expected. Children move along the edges of the street. One pauses near a doorway, watching people pass. He steps back as another cart approaches. The air feels cooler than along the river. Light reaches the ground only in short intervals. Moisture lingers longer here. As the street bends, the space begins to widen. Light increases slightly. The sound of many voices becomes clearer. The path leads toward a more active area of the city, where movement gathers and work becomes visible. Rome, 1450, market area, near the city center. The image opens into a wider space near the center of Rome. The street broadens, allowing more light to reach the ground. Wooden stalls line the open area. Their frames are rough and uneven, built for daily use. Cloth coverings hang loosely, tied at the corners. Produce fills the foreground. Vegetables are arranged in small piles on low tables. Leaves and roots remain untrimmed. A vendor leans forward to adjust his display. He shifts a basket closer to the edge, then steps back. His attention moves from one passerby to the next. Movement here is steady and purposeful. People stop briefly, inspect goods, and move on. No one remains in place without reason. A woman approaches a stall carrying a small container. She looks down, touches one item, then withdraws her hand. The vendor waits without speaking. Coins change hands quickly. A pouch is opened, tilted, then closed again. The exchange ends with a nod. Smells layer the air. Fresh produce, damp wood, and nearby cooking fires mix together. The environment feels active but controlled. Carts arrive from surrounding streets. They unload baskets and crates one by one. A man lifts a load, sets it down, and returns for another. This space supplies nearby neighborhoods. Goods arrive early and are redistributed outward. Timing and freshness shape the pace. Children move along the edges of the crowd. One pauses near a stall, watching the hands of the vendor. After a moment, he follows an older figure away. The ground shows signs of constant use. Stone is worn smooth at the center and rougher at the edges. Water drains slowly toward shallow channels. Vendors adjust their displays throughout the day. Items are shifted, replaced, or removed as stock changes. Each movement is practiced. As time passes, the space grows louder. Voices overlap, foot traffic increases. Toward the far end of the market, the view narrows again. Stalls give way to permanent buildings. Painted signs appear above doorways. The images continue forward, following these signs into streets shaped by skilled labor. Rome, 1450, Craft and Workshop Street. The image moves into a street shaped by skilled labor. The space narrows again, but the rhythm of movement changes. Painted signs extend from buildings on iron brackets. They display simple symbols rather than written names. A hammer, a pair of shears, a leather shoe. Doors remain open along the street. Workspaces are visible from the outside. Light falls directly onto wooden tables worn smooth by use. Inside one workshop, a man bends over a bench. Tools lie arranged in a straight line. He selects one, applies pressure, then places it back in the same position. Another worker passes behind him carrying a narrow board. He turns his shoulders slightly to avoid contact. His steps remain careful and measured. Sound defines this street. Metal strikes metal. Wood scrapes against stone. Each workshop focuses on a single task. Leather is cut. Cloth is measured. Metal is shaped. An older man stands near a doorway watching the activity inside. He folds his hands briefly, then steps aside. His role appears supervisory rather than physical. Apprentices move through the space with caution. One carries a bundle of material held close to his chest. He pauses near a work table, waiting for direction. Walls remain undecorated. Windows are sized for light, not display. Everything serves a function. Work follows daylight rather than timekeeping. Tasks are planned around visibility. When light shifts, activity adjusts. Materials arrive by cart from nearby streets. Finished goods leave the same way. The street acts as both workshop and passage. People passing through slow their pace. They step aside for those carrying tools or loads. Movement remains cooperative. As the street continues, the signs become fewer. Workshops give way to storage rooms and closed doors. The noise softens. Stone walls appear ahead, marking the outer edge of the dense city. The surroundings begin to open. The next images move toward the boundary of Rome, where streets thin and space expands. The image opens near the outer edge of Rome. Stone walls rise steadily, marking a clear boundary between dense streets and open land. The surface of the wall shows repairs made over time. Some stones are darker than others. Grass grows at the base where foot traffic is lighter. A guard walks slowly along a path beside the wall. He pauses, looks outward, then continues forward. His movement is unhurried. Beyond the wall, the land opens into fields and narrow roads. Movement here is more spaced out. Travel happens at a slower pace. A cart approaches the gate from outside the city. Its driver steps down to speak briefly with another man. After a short exchange, the cart moves forward. This boundary controls the flow of people and goods. Entry and exit are observed. Daily life depends on these quiet checks. Buildings near the wall are lower and more spread out. Windows face outward. Doors open less frequently. The air feels different here. Sound carries farther. Silence appears between movements. As the light begins to soften, activity slows. Fewer people pass through the gate. Work gradually concludes. The images begin to turn back toward the city interior, following the fading movement of the day. Closing reflection. These images show Rome as a city shaped by routine rather than spectacle. Streets, markets, workshops, and boundaries all function through repeated action. People move with awareness of space, time, and one another. Work follows daylight. Life unfolds through shared paths and familiar places. The city does not announce change loudly. It adapts through use, repair, and habit. Seen together, these scenes reveal how Rome operated as a living environment, defined by movement, labor, and structure. This is Rome as it appeared in daily life in the year 1450.